r/AskReddit. What's something that will F you up for life if you experience it just once? Also make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Having to make the choice to turn life support off on your 26-year-old wife. Over 30 years ago, and just thinking about it rips my guts out. Update. Thank you all. Someone once told me, you have no control over the things that happen to you in life. What you do control is what you do with those things. You alone can choose whether or not you allow them to make you more compassionate and loving or turn you hard and bitter. Love you guys. Oh, that echoes so sad. I'm so sorry you had to experience this. I had to sign to turn off my 20-yo brothers. I was 17, when no other family member could be contacted. Still raw as yesterday. My sincerest condolences. The moment you grandma, grandpa, dad, or mom doesn't remember who you are after suffering from Alzheimer's or some other similar disease. My grandma had a stroke in early 2020 and has been in a nursing home ever since. I did not see her for 2 years straight because of COVID, and the last time I saw her, she had no idea who I was. She practically raised me because she worked at the preschool I went to and picked me up from school every day and stayed at my house until my parents got home late from work. I can tell she is near the end of her life. Never take it personally when someone with dementia doesn't remember you. They will often return to a childlike state of mind and only remember their parents, and sometimes their grandparents and siblings. When dementia sets in, only their very long-term memory is in place. It doesn't mean you did not make an impact on them, it simply means you were not alive yet at the point they occur at in their memory. What matters is their quality of life, and if they seem distressed or depressed, discuss it with the nurse. My girlfriend just died suddenly 4 days after my birthday, on Christmas Eve, and 2 weeks before our 13th anniversary. I did CPR on her for 8 minutes with blood coming out of her mouth. After the ambulance left, there were trails of her blood to the door. She had an undiagnosed heart condition and went into cardiac arrest after running errands on a normal day. I'm usually a pretty grounded person, but I have not been able to get off the couch since. She was only 31. I am so sorry to hear that. Deeply sorry. My mom got murdered in 2006. And it sucked whatever. But what was astronomically worse was dealing with the justice system and sitting through 2 different trials just to have one lead to a non-guilty verdict, and for the other guilty verdict to be overturned during sentencing due to a failure on the part of my local PD. Totally soul-crushing. Having to see autopsy photos, hearing family members testify, watching the defense tear apart a dead Womanico's character, and having to sit in a small room with a potential killer and his family and kids and stuff. So crazy. There's something backwards in the world currently when the worst part about a loved one being murdered is dealing with the legal system. Much love, friend. Death of a child. My sister died of suicide in 2021. I am my mother's only child now and I hate my life. My family is broken, my only sibling is gone and my mother is here but she is not here. I constantly feel crushed with despair. I am so sorry to all the parents who have lost their children. Holding your father's hand as they turn off life support. I did have this, but my father died of cancer just before Christmas. They said they'd try to knock him out cause the pain was too much and any more painkillers and had OD. My brother and I had to try and calm and hold him in place on his bed in the hospital while they were trying to knock him out. They never succeeded and in 30 minutes he'd passed. It was brutal. My sympathies and condolences. Childhood abuse and domestic violence. I witnessed one and was a victim to the other. Still echoes in memory. A felony. Even non-violent, even 10 years ago. It never goes away. I had 4 non-violent felonies on my record. Did my time and Idaho's expunged now. I still feel like dirt BC of it. Ioko never even had a speeding ticket but managed to get 4 felonies. I feel like I'll always have a scarlet letter on my chest because of my past. A serious stroke. Grandma went from being fiercely independent to completely bedbound in less than 24 hours. Nothing in life prepares you for caring for an ailing/dying parent. It is an absolute heartbreaker and mindfuck. I did it and it negatively changed my personality. I see sad more than I see happy now. I'm working on it though. I'm sending good vibes and sweet juju to anyone else out there who is doing this. Much love and support to you. Sexual abuse. My daughter was sexually assaulted at 10. Shioko's 21 now and has tried to kill herself twice. Guy that did it was allowed to plead to a misdemeanor because the prosecutor felt sorry for him that a 60-year-old man would have to go to prison and said, Okti Donakot think Hiokal do it again OCL. Finding a dead body. My neighbor committed suicide with a shotgun to the mouth in his truck across the street from where I was living at the time. Considering the close proximity, I never heard a thing. It happened overnight, so I can only assume everyone slept through it somehow. I went to get into my car to go to work that morning and just happened to notice that something seemed octopical as I saw the windows of his truck. Unfortunately, I got a little closer and realized what I was looking at. 20 years later, and that image has never left my memory. He was a super nice guy. I hope he found peace wherever he ended up. And please, if you are struggling with mental health issues, reach out to someone. In the USA, call or text 988 to reach the suicide hotline. My friend Ako's upstairs neighbor hung himself off of his balcony. She found him by walking into him in the dark while going out for a cigarette. I think about that all the time. It haunts me, and Iocom not even the one who experienced it. She quit her job, left the city, moved back in with her folks. Idako's been 6 years and Gioko's just starting to get her life back on track. Watching someone die from cancer. My mom took care of her best friend when she got stage 4 lung. Spread to all of her internal organs. Me and my sister would go over to her house every day while my mom took care of her. It literally sucked the life out of her like a juice box. A couple months in, I realized she was going to die. I was relieved when my mom told me she died. I was in 4th grade. I don't look at death like normal people. I just don't want to suffer. In my early 20s, I watched a good friend fight cancer and eventually lose his battle after a couple years. Before he was diagnosed, I remember him first telling me about how he was having problems feeling dizzy and the doctors thinking it was vertigo. The surgery to remove his brain tumor was supposed to be simple, but there was a complication with swelling that ended up paralyzing him from the waist down. He had to relearn how to speak. Among all that, they found the tumor was malignant. The next couple years were rough as he went through treatment after treatment. Things looked promising at one point. But the call I got from him after he learned that it had spread to his spinioko, he could barely get the words out as he sobbed, Okshiakom done. Iocom not gonna make it OCL. I can still hear those words. He did no cut live to C24. I was at work when I learned he finally passed just a few weeks after that call. I sat at my desk in shock and then went to the bathroom to bawl my eyes out. Just a horrifying thing to watch someone go through. Have both a parent and a sibling OD and die 5 years apart. The latter happening in my bedroom when I wasn't even there. Iocom sorry. I lost some people I truly love to addiction. Idako's earth-shattering. I hope you found some form of peace in your grief. All the best. Being cheated on by someone you trust and love completely. You may move on. You may find someone that's more worthy of your attention and love. But that betrayal will always be a part of you. I had a great GF and she couldn't get over the experience of her husband, at the time, cheated on her with her sister. She was a wreck. Childhood abuse/neglect. I feel like a fractured mirror. Something put together from shards in order to reflect a person. Losing somebody you are close to by suicide will destroy you. Edit, 988 if you are in the USA, or the following link has a list of crisis hotlines by country. http://www.suicide.org/international-suicide-hotlines.html. Please keep going. My brother filled up a 5-gallon bucket of gas and lit it inside his car. Hiokad been dealing with mental issues his whole life. I mainly tried to give him his space and just be a good brother to lean on, but when he got into a group that professed health by taping your nose shut at night, he lost a ton of weight. I was actually alarmed and begged him to stop it. He ran off a few times and would go to a Christian farm that was supposed to be a safe house, but they would always find ways to bleed his finances dry and he could come back home. I was trying to get anyone that he could listen to help him when he must have run out of cash again and decided to torch it. I was devastated, but I feel like I did the best I could. Still miss him though. Meth. I opened this thread thinking this would be top answer, particularly thinking of the Redditor who tried it once to prove a point and it made a huge impact on his life. I was rather naive, not realizing what the top comments actually were. Anorexia. It almost killed me, and although I recovered, sometimes I feel like I want to relapse. Old habits just wouldn't die. Strange. I've had it too. I don't think I've ever had a normal relationship with food. Spontaneous H, anyone. Murder, abuse, and sexual violence. An angry bear. On coke. Dying. I flatlined and was revived. The process to revive me and keep me alive took 15 people 45 minutes. The nurse in the room with me when it happened told me about it after I could sit up in bed and talk. I was intubated, paralyzed, in an induced coma, and on dialysis. She was bawling and I felt awkward because I didn't recognize her or remember anything. It's been 8 years, but I still have nightmares that are exactly what I had when I was in a coma, and I wake up having panic attacks. True love, because you're just never the same after it. 3. This comment is so underrated. You think you've experienced it until you actually experience it, and then nothing after comes even remotely close. Abuse. Infidelity. A really bad trip. I wound up in the hospital after an intensely bad trip. Fucked me up for a couple years, not life. Being cheated on. That shit stays with you in the back of your mind regardless of whether it was physical or emotional. It's happened to me in every single relationship I've been in since I started high school, except for my first boyfriend who I dated for just about / maybe just shy of a year. Fucking sucks knowing I haven't been good enough for anyone yet. I just broke up with my boyfriend 3 days ago because I found out he was cheating. I do not feel bad about myself. It hurts, it sucks, it is the biggest disrespect, and he was too chicken shit to break up with me before doing what he did, but all of that had nothing to do with me. It's never because you're not good enough. If your partner is unhappy, it is their responsibility to talk to you about it. If your partner has feelings for someone else, it is their responsibility to tell you and break up with you if they wanted to pursue it. Do not let someone else's actions be a reflection of you. Cheaters are cowards, selfish and disrespectful. Those are things you and I will never be. Crime scene photos of murdered children. 5 years of working criminal defense nearly broke me. My friend trained as an EMT and got a great job. He loved what he was doing right up to the day he responded to the house where the 3-year-old was found in the pool. Just watching the agony of the family fucked him up permanently. He got out of first responder and now works as a bartender. Narcissistic spouse. Being diagnosed with a personality disorder and it suddenly hitting you that you have always been the problem. Fentanyl. Fentanyl sucks. I've been clean off it since December 4, 2010. I'm glad. I'm just glad I survived it and did not end up 6 feet underground. Heroin. Having a child with anoxic brain injury, knowing he will outlive me and wondering who will care for him when I'm gone. Abuse at a young age. Not being believed or taken seriously. Doesn't matter what the situation is. It is devastating. Especially when you aren't the sort of person to just make shit up. Being with your pet while it's being euthanized. We owe it to them to be there in their final moments, but I know it really F***ed me up. Losing a friend that you know like a brother. Not from experience, but it almost happened to me. I watched my grandpa die, that was hard AF, but not near as bad as watching my 5-year-old flatline and have 20 DRS and nurses storm the room. They had him back within 30 seconds. Still kicks me in the gut and sends fear coursing through me whenever I think about it. Total protonic reversal.